Mal finally addresses hiding detergent from Joe Budden.
What happened was a girl that I was seeing at the time. She used to come over sometimes on the weekends and do what girls do: wash your clothes, clean up like that. So she had bought some detergent and put it in my closet. I didn't even know it was in there. So when I left, I was out of town for a few weeks. I think I was on the West Coast or something. And I guess that's when somebody went in my room and in the closet saw detergent, and then that turned into the hiding detergent thing. Like I don't even know. Like I'm saying money was taken from me, and then the response is I hide detergent. Like, like I just don't. Like I get it, but it's like I'm not hiding no detergent, fam. Like that's what it was. It was some detergent that a girl that I was dating back then she bought, and she used to just leave in the closet after she did my laundry and shit like that.
So was it that kind of living situation where detergent was a thing? Like, was there no other detergent, or y'all was good on detergent? He just saw some extra detergent and was
Yeah, I
like,
guess.
"This
I
nigga
guess.
hiding detergent."
Yeah, I guess niggas niggas ain't had no detergent in the laundry room and saw detergent in my room and took it as I'm hiding detergent. I didn't even know that detergent was in my closet. I'm truthfully, I didn't. I had no idea. Like once she did my clothes and put it away, like I didn't know where detergent. Like I'm not paying. If I had to wash clothes and there ain't no detergent in the laundry room, I'm going to get some detergent.
Well, I feel like you're not taking the situation as serious as it really needs to be. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Was it tied? Was it games? Like I feel like you're kind of ducking
Nah, I'm a down.
the real smoke right now.
I'm a downy. I'm a downy nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
But
for
I mean,
the
you
softener
got
too, or just
Nah,
detergent?
the scented beads. I get the downy scented
Yeah,
beads.
yeah.
I get the downy
That was gonna
dryer
be my
sheets.
next
I
question.
get the downy
Okay.
dryer
I just
Mm.
want to
sheets.
make sure, like, if it was gain, like, I mean, I guess that's for the whole crib. But
Yeah,
yeah, the downy,
I
yeah, you
think
gotta hide the downy. You have to hide the
yeah.
downy.
Tuck the
Joey.
downy. You niggas go with that game. You heard?
That's right, on a recent Twitter space hosted by me, Maul finally decided to deconstruct the narratives Joe Budden had planted about him in the past. Now, I'm just reporting what he said. It's up to you to see if you believe it. But for those of you that don't remember, Joe Budden would plant a narrative on episode 437 of the Joe Budden podcast, the infamous episode where Joe Budden would fire Rory and Mal. And one of the funniest and memorable narratives was Joe Budden telling a story about Mal hiding detergent from him. Now, what did Joe Budden mean by this? Well, I honestly think what he was doing was painting Mal as somebody who may have been living off him, but also hiding detergent at the same time. Well, anyway, in the Twitter space, Mal said that he was never hiding detergent and that he actually had a female friend, a tenderoni, who was keeping detergent in her space and washing his clothes, and that's the reason why the downy was being tucked. Now, I know a lot of you might be like, Danny, why do you care? Danny, this isn't that important. Well, actually, it is important if you're a fan of the Joe Budden podcast with Rory and Mal, what I consider to be the greatest podcast of all time. Now, as to what this means, well, could it be that Joe Budden misled his audience in an attempt to make Maul look crazy? Or did Joe Budden actually have some reason to believe that Maul was being disingenuous by hiding the Downy? I mean, Downy isn't cheap, it's pretty expensive. So I kind of see where Maul might be coming from if he was hiding the Downy. But now he reveals that his shorty doo-wop, his romantic partner at the time, was the one hiding the downy. But let me know what you think in the comments. Have you ever hid detergent from your besties? Have you ever had to keep the gummy bears in your room because you know you don't want anybody eating your gummy bears? You don't want anybody eating your resources. Was Maul wrong if he hid the detergent? And let me know what you feel about this narrative finally being deconstructed 3 years later on my Twitter space. Now, I wanted to get to something that I think we have to address. This Twitter space was a bit controversial, and I think it was a lot of things going on in the background. And one of the things going on in the background was that me and Rory had agreed to do this Twitter space a couple days before we did it. I never knew Maul would join, so I'm not gonna talk about that because he kind of just joined organically. But there's a lot of controversy behind how I ran this. And Joe Budden joined the Twitter space. He raised his hand to come up, and everybody and their mother was like, Danny, bring him up. But little did they know that I made a gentleman's agreement with Rory not to bring Joe Budden up. And I'm going to respect that. It's interesting what they do when you make the right decision. I was never going to bring Joe Budden up. It was agreed upon that if Joe Budden did raise his hand, it wouldn't happen. And to be honest, Joe Budden spent the last few days on Twitter Space talking about how he's going to challenge Rory, how he's going to deconstruct the lies. And Rory got wind of it. That's Joe's fault. I mean, Joe shouldn't have been saying that. And that is totally in Rory's right to want to speak to his audience, want to speak to the people. And it's not up to me to ambush Rory. Remember that whole Discord situation? Y'all said I was a snake for that. And now everybody who called me a snake is asking me to bring Joe up and break my word. And the truth is, I understand where Rory was coming from. I've been speaking to Joe on the Twitter spaces for a minute. This man is insanely skilled at planning narratives, being able to switch things around. You say one thing, you think you have him cornered, he introduces something new. And you're like, but wait, can you talk about that? And then he throws a narrative about you for the people in the audience that rock with Joe. And Joe has a big fan base, a bunch of Newport mafiosos, catering to each and every piece of his word, taking everything he says as gospel. So I can understand why Rory felt the way he felt. And I rock with Rory for that decision. And I totally am proud of myself for standing up to everybody in my DMs. All of you people talking about, I would have did this, I would have did that. Well, you know what? You wouldn't have done nothing because you couldn't even set that space up. A lot of you people hosting Twitter spaces are doing it with 7 people, 7 hosts. There's this one dude trying to come at me talking about, oh, I would have did that. You need a co-host. You need this one person to help you out all the time. I'm not going to say your name. You know I'm talking to you. You got to put the work in. You can't have 2 videos and then expect to be put in these spots. And you can't even expect to set people up. You have no right to ambush anyone. You have no right to do that. If you think Rory's lying, if you think Joe's lying, that does not give you the right to put someone in a position they don't want to be in. The Joe Vengers, the Rory and Mal Hive, let's have a discourse. And to be honest, if I bring Joe up when y'all wanted me to bring Joe up, Mal doesn't come through. So sometimes making the right decision is the right thing to do. We had a great conversation. I think it's one of the seminal moments in the breakup with Joe Budden, Rory, and Mal. That Twitter space is right up there with episode 437. It's almost like their detailed response to the narratives that Joe was laying out. And I can't only say that I did it. There was a lot of people there from my Discord. Shout out to BX Native. Shout out to Slick. Shout out to Project. Shout out to everybody that was there asking the right questions, properly timed. A lot of these social audio chats out here sounding like garbage because people not speaking. There's people stroking egos out there. There's people, oh, hi, Joe. I just wanted to thank you so much. I just wanted to thank you so much for letting me ask this question. But I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the platform. I'm proud that people feel comfortable talking to me about these things. And it's a big achievement. You know, as I was doing it, it felt surreal. It felt like I was in another dimension. There was people in the audience like, oh my God, Joe, Rory Mal, they're together again. And on top of that, Savon Parks were in the audience. The whole crew was together, even if it was just their avatars. It was a special moment. And if they ever do a documentary, I firmly believe that that space will be in it. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about how it was run. I know a lot of you Joe Vengers are gonna say, Danny, you should have brought Joe up because he has to get the word. Well, he doesn't necessarily have to get the word. I know he's Joe Budden, probably the biggest podcaster in the world. Well, not really. I mean, obviously Joe Rogan, but probably one of the biggest podcasters in the world. He doesn't have to get brought up just because he's people are allowed to have their own spaces curated in the way they want. That's all I'm saying. But like I just said, let me know what you think by participating in the comment section. All right, y'all, that's my video for today. Follow me on Twitter. This is where a lot of this stuff is going down. Lock in with me there. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.